So get this. What if we took the Tsar Bomba, literally the most insane, terrifyingly massive nuclear weapon ever created, and sank it straight down into the Mariana Trench? We are talking about 58.6 megatons of pure, unadulterated power. When they originally tested this thing, the blast wave literally circled the entire globe 3 times, and they dropped it from a height of about 6.5 miles. Now, think about the Mariana Trench. It is the deepest, darkest crack in the Earth's surface, plunging almost 7 miles deep and stretching 3 miles wide. 6.5 miles in the sky versus almost 7 miles down into the ocean? Sounds like a match made in crazy science heaven, right? But if you just drop this massive nuke into the water, absolutely nothing would happen at first. Seriously, it wouldn't even explode. Why? Because it's all about water density and extreme pressure. Down at those absolute depths, the pressure hits 1,100 times our normal atmospheric pressure. That means the bomb's standard outer layer of lead would just instantly get crushed completely flat. You wouldn't get a world-ending boom. Instead, you'd end up with a giant, highly radioactive, 130-foot-wide uranium pancake just sitting in the dark at the bottom of the ocean. It would sit there emitting radiation for centuries since uranium has a massive half-life. But because the charge wasn't compressed to critical mass, the shell would just tear off and dissolve. Boring, right? But wait, let's say we cheat. We want that boom. So, we lock the nuke safely inside a super strong deep-sea submersible so it actually detonates. Oh my God, guys. Brace yourselves, because there are a few ways this plays out. First, what if it explodes halfway down? Say, about 3 to 5 miles deep. Honestly, it would look like your typical underwater nuclear test, but on massive steroids. We are talking about a 400-foot-high mega tsunami bursting out of the Pacific Ocean. Say goodbye to Japan and all of Southeast Asia because they are completely washed away. Half of Australia? Flooded. Eastern China? Flooded. The U.S. West Coast, especially San Francisco and Los Angeles, would get completely battered by 250-foot waves. Even the background radiation in the Pacific would spike for a few days. But it gets so much worse. What if it explodes at the very bottom, 7 miles deep? The Mariana Trench isn't just a deep hole. It sits exactly on the boundary between 2 massive tectonic plates, the Pacific and the Philippine plates. If you set off the world's most powerful nuke right there, the shock wave would blast directly into the absolute weakest spot of the Earth's crust. Those plates would start aggressively slamming together or ripping apart. We wouldn't just get a big splash. The energy would bounce back up and create a colossal, ultra-super tsunami. And that's just the start. Next, we would see massive, magnitude 12 earthquakes ripping across the entire ring of fire. Those earthquakes would trigger a second round of mega tsunamis, even bigger than the first ones. Then comes the lava. The explosion would trigger a gargantuan release of magma, setting off a horrific chain of volcanic eruptions everywhere. Expect non-stop acid rain for at least a month. The ash in the air would block out the sun entirely. We are talking instant nuclear winter. Between the tsunamis and the freezing cold, humans and almost every other species would be pushed right to the brink of extinction. And guess what? There's one more insane possibility. The blast could literally punch a massive hole straight through the Earth's crust. This would create a mega magma fountain that could literally form a brand new continent. But the sheer force of that impact, it could actually knock our entire planet completely out of its orbit. We'd either get pushed closer to the sun and fry like bacon on a second Venus, or drift out into deep space and freeze in a permanent, endless winter. Or, the blast just tears the planet entirely in half. Unbelievable. Luckily, humans aren't complete fools. Back in 1963, they actually signed a treaty banning underwater nuclear tests because they knew it was a terrible, terrible idea. But I gotta ask, with how crazy governments can be, Do you think some secret agency has already quietly run tests like this? Drop your craziest theories in the comments. I need to read them.